Hello, Phoenix. Welcome to court. 7 years, all leading to one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant, Vera Misham, innocent or guilty? Courtroom doors are opening, the trial awaits. Are ready to begin? Court number 3. All preparations complete, hit the button. Something inside me. Rising, surfacing. Something important. Lost long ago. It's close now. So close. October 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom number 3. Court is now in session for the trial of Vera Misham. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution's ready to rock. Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant? Vera Misham's condition. Acute atracrine poisoning. According to physician, she could die at any time. Thus, her absence from the courtroom today. What? They can't put her on trial without her being here? It is unusual. They should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. That's being a little harsh. They can't delay the trial any longer, or they risk having no one left to try. The trial without a verdict will only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right. If Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not gonna let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtain all these years. I'm gonna get Vera an innocent verdict while there's still time. Very well. Your buddy's statement, Prosecutor Gavin. The prosecution's case is unchanged for recent events. Why did Vera Misham succumb to poison? Because she couldn't live with the guilt of what she'd done. But Vera was poisoned with atracrine, the same poison that took her father's life. What better confession could you ask for? Being the killer, she would have access to the poison. Significant, since it's rather hard to come by. That is true. In other words, I see no need for further discussion. We could have had our verdict yesterday. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to approach a verdict. What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defense holds that Vera Misham is the victim, not the killer. If that's so, then you have to prove something. She was in court, giving her testimony before us. How do you propose her killer poisoned her? Oh, and incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was. Prosecution objection is sustained. I ask this defense to prove its claims to this court. Tell us how Vera Misham was poisoned. We've got 2 things to prove here. Who did it and how? Which hit first? How? Why did the killer poison Vera Misham? I'll focus first on the method used. Any comments before we begin, Mr. Prosecutor Gavin? Not a bother, a container of poison was found on the defendant's body. I see, so the victor of poisoning is unknown. Is the defense prepared to prove how the poison reached Vera Misham? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. What method would you use to poison Vera Misham? Nail polish. What's this? Why, what a beautiful bottle. I'd like to give it to whoever designed that a hand. Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Something the matter? No, nothing. Nothing at all. So the killer put poison in the bottle and made her drink it. The Professor Gavin has told us this is nail polish. Nail polish? It's like paint for nails. You know any women with red nails? My wife has red nails. I see. So she's been painting them all this time. Let's recall yesterday's trial. Remember Vera's testimony to the court? Court is now back in session. Yeah, she's chewing on her fingers. Vera seems pretty tense. She's back to chewing her fingernails clean off. Whenever Vera became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails. Her nails? Prosecutor Gavin. When the prosecution and Vera examined it, they checked her nails. Bailiff, have them check the defendant's nails at once. Mr. Justice. Yes. Do you know who did this? Do you know who put poison in that nail polish? Yes. That bottle belongs to Vir Misham. Why do you ask? You know someone else who might have a bottle like this? No, just checking. Mr. Justice, you have to accuse someone of poisoning that bottle of nail polish. Please dispense with the chatter. You realize the weight of this accusation. Here, let me show you. Understood, Your Honor. No problem. I know what I'm doing this time. So let us ask. Who poisoned Vir Misham via her nail polish? Hey, he's the conveniently first person in my queue of people. So yeah, it's this guy. What's this? Christoph Gavin. What's your game? My bro, there's no way he could do a thing like that. You should know better. You should know that better than anyone else. Indeed. He's behind bars. I know. However, that doesn't mean it was impossible to do what he did. What? Ask yourselves when he put the poison in the bottle. It could have been yesterday. It could have been a month ago. Maybe it was a year ago. Perhaps it was 7 years ago. But Christoph Gavin had no motive for killing this poor girl. It's simply inconceivable. Mr. Gavin doesn't seem to think so. Yeah, he's a little sweaty over there. But face tells me one thing. Christoph Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, you feel there is a clear and pressing need. We may have to summon Christoph Gavin from jail as a special witness. Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. The darkness has swallowed even myself. Okay, the defense's wish is granted. Let prisoner Christoph Gavin take the stand. We're left in proceeding to call as better witness. The witness is Christoph Gavin, currently residing in solitary cell 13 at Central Prison. Hello. Welcome back to the court. Your Honor, how good to see you again. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? It's what the pleasure of your company. It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Mr. Justice. I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Step up, brother Papalo, you can do it. Does this bottle look familiar? Eradoni nail polish? Why yes, I use it myself. As did the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. And was there something concerning this bottle that you wish to ask me about? I admit, I respect her taste in nail polish. Her taste, indeed. This nail polish was how Vir Misham was poisoned. Hetzerquin, was it? You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin. Even in solitary, Mutz comes to my desk and I have nothing to do but to read. Well, Clavier. He's still sweaty. Maybe you can explain this. I don't... Well, maybe. You're being accused again. By him again. And you agree with this accusation, do you? Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Christoph Gavin, your testimony, please. I'd be delighted. The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You're suspected of the poisoning of the defendant, Vir Misham. Please testify in this matter to the court. Poisoning Vera. Running the same death is not a murder of make. I've been in a solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, meaning which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you're not going to suggest that I was responsible for poisoning her father, too. Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely. Naturally. For one, I don't even know the Mishams. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice? Very well, Mr. Justice. Begin your cross-examination. Accusing Christoph Gavin, my ex-boss. But I know he poisoned the Mishams. The question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention, why? because you did it in the past. Can you still make contact with the outside world in solitary? So we had a compass on the outside. Is that your latest accusation? I'm not a certain monochrome of letter writing. But the contents of those letters are closely checked. It's extremely difficult, isn't a hit request? Mr. Given's on the warpath, isn't he? Yeah, kinda. Yeah, you think so too, Juicy? I bet I know why. You must be nervous with Big Brother watching. Maybe that's a weakness I can turn to my advantage. I'll be cool with that, maybe I continue. Meaning that she killed him. Both Vera and Mr. Missam were poisoned with atropine. That really can't be a coincidence. The defense is repeating religious statements based on conjecture. The Constitution requests concrete and ambiguous proof to the witness's crime. The objections abstained. The defense will please present concrete proof. Mr. Garen seems strange to you two. It's like he's all grown up. I think that's how prosecutors are supposed to be, actually. Though he is acting different than usual. I bet it has a lot to do with his brother, Kristoff, being in the room. Let's make the testimony count, Paolo. Right, quick and painless. Bracelet should do the trick. I'm Christian my ex-boss. The testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something, as long as I focus. Alright. Okay. Let's try this one. You're looking at me, I see you doing it. You have a scar on your hand. Hey, what? That's kind of unsettling. Little skull in his hand, what? Okay, gotcha. It's you who killed Drew Missam. A bluff worthy of your memento, Mr. Wright. Oh really? But you see, I saw it. Or when you said, her father too. Your hand tensed unnaturally, and a little devil appeared to give me the news. And let's assume, for the sake of argument, that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Missam fought a nail polish too? Sorry, if there's more than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get through someone's mouth. They must be very talented indeed. You see, Drew Missam was killed on October 6th. While I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. It's not an alibi, I don't know when it is. You found a way, all the same. And I found it too. This is how you poisoned Mr. Missam. The stamp? The red envelope? The stamp. My. And here I thought you'd come so far. Huh? I admire how you, lacking any confidence whatsoever, choose the Barrelon. Your defense lacks even a shred of elegance. Much like Phoenix Wright, come to think of it. What? There's poison on the stamp. Come on now. You put poison on the stamp. I saw it. Should I just present the stamp itself? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Like, I put the letter for the stamp because it talks about the poison on the stamp, but fine. How about the stamp itself then? Sure, this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. When Mr. Mirsham died, he was seen writing a letter. Electrical was found on the stamp, Mr. Gavin. So I to understand, the stamp was the murder weapon. Yes, you are. Oh, and yes. The stamp was found in your prison cell. That is all, Your Honor. Order, order, order. But pose it on the back of that stamp. After Drew Misham was killed, someone paid a visit to the witness's cell. Phoenix Wright. Daddy? That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Misham write you a letter. That's how you killed him. What? My. You upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall witness Spark Bushell's testimony. Well, that's the thing, see. After he put his letter in that envelope, Miss Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp. End quote. He was looking for a stamp. Ergo, he had no intention of using this stamp. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this criminal's stamp was in a frame. It was mere coincidence that he used it that night. That would seem to be the case. Or perhaps you mean to suggest that I can somehow manipulate coincidence. You just have a point. How does witness know the victim was going to use that stamp? Not that, he couldn't have planned the murder. What? Really, Clavier? You should be seeing through these weak-spined bluffs by now. He's right, though. Could anyone have known Mr. Misham would use that stamp that night? Least of all, Christoph Gavin locked away in his cell. Well, seems the defense has run out of things to say. You simply had something to say in the first place. Maybe the defense's bluff has been called. Defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Christoph. Clavier? Honestly, I wanted to believe you. The defense wasn't trying to get away with a bluff. You were, Christoph. What do you say, Buster Gavin? Her forehead. What was your accusation again? Huh? Oh, it was that this poison stamp to kill Drew Misham, ja? Just my brother responded thusly. There is no way to know when Mr. would use the stamp. Yes, that's right, which is why it couldn't have been planned. Tell me, it needs to be planned. Why? Why couldn't it have been a coincidence? In this case, it's simply that Drew Misham died for that stamp. That's all. Coincidence? Christoph, you tried to slip one out of his organization by changing the subject. That's not bluffing. What is? What are you up to, Clavier? I could ask you the same question, Christoph. I silenced the defense with the fewest words possible. It's called efficiency. But Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony. Very well, take his claim head on then. Justice? What? You accuse me of Drew Misham's murder, yes? Then, allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter? Apollo, motive! You're talking about a motive. Indeed. It's hard to see how an attorney could come to a want to kill a painter. Now here's something, why didn't he bring up the motive from the very beginning? Unless he was afraid it was a battle he might lose. So what does it mean? It means there might be a weak spot. Maybe he has some evidence to prove a motive. A motive for murder. This is a vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement. I tell you it's about this vital. That's pretty vital. Well, Mr. Justice, going through with this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence. Then let's see what you have for us. What reason did Christoph Gavin have for wanting to murder Mr. DeRue? Why did he want to murder him? Because he's a bad guy who forges things. the red envelope. Christoph Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to the Drew Misham studio in the first place. And why was that? Forgery, Your Honor. Go back 7 years. Drew Misham accepts his first job creating forged evidence. I've seen that before. A page from a diary, was it? Magnifique Marte's diary. Ah, when Attorney Phoenix Wright got his badge, yes. This was the evidence he presented, to his loss. This evidence is a fake, yes. But did Mr. Wright request that forgery be made? It was never proven. The defense attorney on that case was Phoenix Wright. Who other than him, drunk with the prospect of victory, could have done it? Nor would they. Just out of curiosity, do you remember this letter? This is the first page. And this is the second. Those were presented in court yesterday. This letter was sent to Drew Misham by the client who requested that forgery. The enclosed stamp was none other than the poisoned criminal stamp. Drew Misham drew his last breath just the other day. However, the motive for murder was already 7 years old. 7 years old? The client who requested this forgery was very cautious. Tried to erase everything and anyone with connection to the forgery to keep them from talking, but he made a mistake. The stamp is a picture of my favorite magician, so I kept it. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. The killer's time bomb was delayed. The poison stunt was sealed within a glass frame, where it sat for 7 whole years. Forehead. Do you understand what you're telling us? The one who schemed up the forged diary page was one of the boys in the stamp. It was Phoenix Wright who presented the forged evidence 7 years ago. Adding the two statements together, the one who schemed to kill Drew Misham was none other than Phoenix Wright. Sorry, but that's not how it's going to go down. Oh, then how will it go down? I checked through the records on that case when I found this. 7 years ago, just before the trial began. Old boy. Here. What's this? I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. It told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. And one more thing. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. I understand that I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. That was enough. Phoenix Wright was put in the case the day before the trial started. He didn't have time to request a forgery. The day before. Now here's a question. Does who is Shady Ignar's previous defense attorney? No, this can't all be. But it is all true. There's another man, defense attorney with a badge on his collar. It was you, Christoph Gavin. Order, order, order. What is the meaning of this, witness? I mean, defendant, or former lawyer. Let me begin by denying this. It's easy enough to look up, Mr. Gavin. Impossible to prove if you can't. Attorneys are registered with the court the day before the trial begins. In other words, no record remains in the court. How exactly do you attempt to prove Phoenix Wright's claim? That would be difficult. I'm afraid this line of inquiry won't yield. Forehead, are you sure you don't have evidence? What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks clammy. Evidence! I'm in touch with this man, Christoph Gavin, and requested that forgery 7 years ago. Clavier? Just prove it! Clear up these doubts now, or I swear I'm off this case. Must have thought of some evidence. Apollo? Professor Gavin looked like he's in physical pain. That darkness. I have to pull that darkness out of him, and the proof is the only way I can. What proves Christoph Gavin's link to Drew Misham? But Mr. Justice, you claim Christoph Gavin requested a forgery of Drew Misham 7 years ago. Prove it! It can't be proven. simply ridiculous. Why would even discuss it? This evidence does not... Are you telling the truth, Pablo Justice? I am. Then, I say we give him the benefit of the doubt. Very well, but if you're wrong about this, you're right for a penalty. Your Honor, do you defend injustice? Your justice is clearly passionate about his claim. Should the penalty not match his passion? The whole thing. I haven't get a penalty like that in a long time. Well, Mr. Justice. Fine, Your Honor. I'll have to prove it's any kind of link. Something that ties Christoph Gavin to the Drew Misham. And I have something that clearly does the job. Very well, Mr. Justice. Present your evidence. Show us the link between our witness and Drew Misham. The letter. This evidence proved there's a link. That's a scrap of paper. I'm afraid I can't let you submit that. There's some problem. There is. How could you possibly have that? You couldn't. Hey, that's Daddy's handwriting. Mr. Wright's handwriting? What is the meaning of this? I see now. Yes, of course. What do you mean, of course? I just remembered I had a visitor yesterday. Phoenix Wright came to my cell, except I wasn't there. Phoenix Wright. When I returned, I saw he had something of mine in his possession. Of course, I had no intention of letting him get away with reading my private mail. Mail? You mean this letter was in your cell? No. However, it appears Mr. Wright is yet to be cured of his bad forging habit. Well, if it's a forgery, then it's not a very good one. His handwriting's terrible. This is Mr. Wright's reproduction of what was written in the real letter. Reproduction? Remember Mr. Wright visited Christoph Gavin's cell? He brought with him a small video camera. What? He recorded his entire conversation with you, Mr. Gavin. The contents of your personal mail. Regardless, this mockery of a piece of evidence will never be accepted by the court. Evidence based on a video of a man with no authority has whatsoever claims he took. A man who happens to be an expert attorney is suspected of forgery. Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin? It's embarrassing as this for me to say. I'm afraid my brother isn't capable of making rational judgments at the moment. Your Honor, your decision, please. The defense claim is denied. What? Only excellent evidence submitted in a court of law. Please remove the defense's evidence from the record. Better luck next time, Justice. Well, we're starting to take a detour from our cross-examination, but the defense appears to be lacking in proof. We're supposed to end the cross-examination of Christoph Gavin at this point. Apollo, do something. I'm thinking, but without evidence, I don't have anything I can use on him. Very well, this ends the cross-examination. The soul's over, the crowd screams for more. Why not understand why? Prosecutor Gavin, frankly I'm relieved. This has been bothering me for 7 whole years. I'm tired of the whole youthful angst scene. Now's our chance. Let's clean out the family closet, Christoph? Clavier, you're spinning out of control. Calm yourself before you say something you'll regret. Spinning out of whose control? Mine or yours? Take a moment to consider everything you've built. Your reputation as a prosecutor, your fame with the masses. You could lose it all, Xavier Clavier. Apollo, did you see that? He's trying to press Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin, try to remember what's really important to you. You amuse me, have forehead. I can't forget what's really important to me, even if I tried. In fact, I haven't. Not even once. 7 years ago. Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you? Yeah, right. Just what? Presenting solid evidence. No, of course, I put the current cross-examination on hold. Prosecution would like to call a new witness. State your name and occupation for the record. I'm familiar with the trial. I've watched the video several times. Can you find anything unnatural about it? Unnatural? Well, you didn't seem unusually well prepared. I mean, Mr. Wright had only just presented his evidence. The next moment, you call and you miss him. It was almost as if... what? Funny, didn't occur to me to wonder. But now that I do, I see there's only one possible explanation. Almost as if, from the very beginning, you knew Mr. Wright was going to present that evidence. Correct. I knew that if I applied the usual pressure, Phoenix Wright would be eventually come up with that forged diary page. Don't do this, Clavier. I knew because you told me, Kristoff. What? It was the night before the trial. Clavier. Kristoff, I'd seen you at the prosecutor's office the day before the trial. I want to be appearing in the trial, actually. Huh? Why not? I won't be facing off with you in your first trial, apparently. But in exchange, I brought information. Information? The attorney you have either at my place tomorrow is not to be trusted. Don't even give him the benefit of your respect. Listen. I want you to call and expect a witness. Then... I wondered about it at the time. How did Kristoff know so much? Prosecutor Gavin. Kristoff? We were supposed to face each other in that trial. A fair fight, brother to brother. I deserved that much. Let me borrow the victim's belongings. You showed me all your research on the case. The victim's belongings, which would have included Magnifique's diary, wouldn't it? Mr. Gavin. My Clavier, you disappoint me. You find trees, yet miss the forest. You're the one missing the forest, Mr. Gavin. You can't sweep this under the rug, not anymore. Tell me what's going on behind that trial. Why not? I've achieved what I came here to do. See no harm in that over-menacing. Apollo, I think we're finally going to shine a light on the black belly of this thing, Trucy. We've done all we could. Hope it's enough. 7 years ago, the trial before the trial, I visited the village under the request of my client, Zach Gamarte. 2 cards. 1 card. Showdown time. Enough. You lose, Gavin. Thanks for the work. Now go. To be honest, I don't know what his reasons were to this day. As far as I could tell, he dismissed me as his representation because I lost a game of poker. I come to no other conclusion. Daddy used to say something. If you want to know a man, you have to compete. Zach wasn't watching his points or the cards. He was watching the man behind the cards, Kristoff Gavin. I couldn't believe it. Phoenix Wright. Second-rate attorney relies on luck and bluffs. He dismissed me and went to that pitiful excuse of a man. He deserved to die for that error alone. Hold it. So the one who requested that forgery was... Oh, I'm not admitting anything. My point is... Those 2 men shamed me. I could not forgive that. Phoenix Wright and Zach Gamarte, they both deserve what they got. Just permissed him to forge that evidence, so you could win. Then when you were dismissed as Zach Gamarte's attorney, you used your forged evidence as a trap. You had me information about the forgery you made. Then you gave me your dirty evidence to him. You're free to imagine what you will. My point is all I had imagined had come to pass. Everything went perfectly. Incredible. If I wasn't laughing, I'd weep. Prosecutor Gavin. Perfectly. You're mad, Kristoff. Stop fooling yourself. What are you talking about, Xavier? Clavier? Tell me, how did that trial end? Cancelled when the defendant vanished. Ah, I get it. So, Kristoff, you've been living in fear for 7 years. What? We were afraid your forgery would be revealed and your reputation trashed. You can't leave things a chance. So you watched everyone involved with the case for 7 years. You know, he always felt like I was being watched. That's what he said, every day, for 7 years. But I felt it too. Journalists are always being watched, end quote. Tell you when it was Zach Gamarte got rubbed out of for 7 years. After coming into contact with me... Just wait a minute. Zach Gamarte was seen by the supporter. How is that possible? Was he alive after being gone 7 years? Finally. This moment was calming. I didn't think we'd get here so fast. Zachary Marte gone missing for 7 years. Chusei's father. What's wrong, Apollo? Go get him! Right. Leave it to me. Let me refresh the court's memory. 6 months ago, Christoph Yavin was charged with murdering a mysterious traveler. I remember him quite well. Shady Smith, wasn't? Poisoning a Chinese restaurant. Tragic. The details don't really matter right now. What matters is that that trial was Zachary Marte. What is it, Apollo? Huh? Keep going. We'll talk about it later. Did she already know? Someone please explain this. Mr. Justice, can you explain this? It all started 7 years ago. The great magician Magnifique Marte's death started it. Magnifique Marte's death is his student Zachary Marte the suspect. Who defended Zach in a court successfully would be famous beyond belief. Thinking that, Christoph Yavin did the unthinkable. He forged evidence. Drew Misham. Actually, it was his daughter, Vera, who really did the work. Took precautions when you had that forgery, but didn't you, Gavin? Precautions? To keep people from talking, of course. These people know too much. Leave them alive and there'll be nothing but trouble. That's when he planned the poisoning of the foreigners. Heteroquin, and applied to a commemorative stamp. But luck was on Mr. Sam's side. The bomb didn't go off. His daughter. She saved him by taking the stamp, I see. But that wasn't the only bomb he set up. The Etrodoni nail polish, of course. You noticed something when you requested that forgery. Her Miss Him is nervous, she has a bad habit. You didn't see to bite her nails. Ah. The nail polish was her good luck charm. She was almost kidnapped once. Since then, she's been, well, you can see for yourself. She refused to leave the house. The person gave me a good luck charm for when I actually had to go outside. Protects me. Yes, apparently she was something, a gift. She won't tell me what it was. It's from that client, the one who wanted that note made. It was his insurance. Insurance? As long as she lived quietly at home, there's no danger to her. But if she had to go outside, she ran into any trouble, she'd become nervous. And none of us would do the rest. This time bomb sat there for 7 years, and then they went almost simultaneously. If you're finished, may I return to my cell now. I'm not accustomed to standing for such long periods of time. Mr. Gavin, have you heard a single thing we've said? Oh, listen quite closely to your little tale. Quite an entertaining piece of fiction. What? Clavier, surely you understand. Now back to the evidence. Lacking evidence. Nothing proves a link between him and the Etrodoni that took Mr. Drew Misham's life. What about the restaurant? You killed Zachary Marte. Keep him from talking. I killed no man of that name. Read over the report again if you'd like. The victim was a traveler by the name of Shady Smith, whom we know but little else. I can't seriously think I knew he was that particular fugitive. Okay, then why did you kill him? I plead my right to remain silent. Remember this court did not convene to put me on trial. The defendant's name is Vera Misham, convicted in the murder of her father. My trial has been finished for 6 months now. Afraid we have strayed considerably from our purpose here. Quick concerns with the witness. The defendant Vera Misham was on trial here. No, but you're doing so good, Apollo. As long as there is no support to his accusation against him, This course we cannot find Vera Miss M innocent. Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence. You still don't get it, do you? Now let's assume there was poison in the nail polish. Who then was responsible for causing Vera Miss M to bite her nails? What? It wasn't me, I know that much. The one who brought that poison to her lips was you. What? What? Evidence is everything. There's nothing more. I believe this discussion has reached its conclusion. Your Honor, Mr. Justice, you performed actively well for a novice attorney. Respect your partner, Phoenix Wright's determination as well. However, without direct proof, you will have nothing. Isn't that right, Clavier? Unfortunately, yes, Kristoff, you're right. That is, you would have been right until now. What? Did the news not reach your desk in solitary? The eyes of the nation are on this courtroom today. This is a trial case for a new judicial system. That's right. Totally forgotten. The jurist system. Jurist, you say? The current judicial system has been deemed too closed off from society. The new system attempts to inject the wisdom of common citizens into the law. Common citizens? Wisdom? Is this some kind of joke? What could we possibly gain by doing this? Trusting our judicial system to a mindless emotional mob of irrational mouth-breathers. Common citizens are something called common sense. Common sense is not restricted by the law. But nonsense, there's only room for two in this court, me and the law. Get the riffraff out, I say. They're in the court, actually. They're watching everything by video camera. How can you allow this? Incidentally, the one responsible for making this happen was Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright? Ooh. So everything was leading into this, of course, right? Right. Wow. I would accept it, I can't accept. This is no court. Law. Law's everything. Law's absolute. Let ignorant swine swallow your courts. Kristoff, it's over. Clavier. Law's absolute. You can't be serious. What? I thought you spent your life looking for loopholes. Law's an absolute. It's filled with contradictions. The law is a product of many years of history. The fruit of human knowledge, like a gem paused to a gleam through trials and errors. This is the fruit we receive and pass on and face in our time. It's always changing, growing, nurturing it as our task as human beings. Except for you, Krista. You aren't changing. You've stopped. You're not needed anymore. I couldn't think of anything to say. Maybe because I still haven't seen enough. But someday, I'll know what law is. I'll fight to change if I have to. I see no need to prolong this trial. At the beginning of the trial is Vera Miss M, accused of murdering her father. The painter drew Miss M, however. The several incidents were reviewed, and we seem to have reached a conclusion. Before this court declares a verdict, I await your decision. Jurors of the court. The death of Drew Miss M, how do you find the defendant, Vera Miss M? Innocent or guilty? I turn to you now to consider this matter. October 9th, 11:48 p.m., Jurist Chambers. This ends the trial for this case. Only the verdict remains to be decided. Defendant Vera Miss M is currently in intensive care. If a decision cannot be reached today, it may never be reached. The factors involved are simple. The defendant poisoned her father that night. If so, she is guilty. Was there another reason for Mr. Miss M's death? Another person poisoned him. If so, she is innocent. The panel has been provided for you to input your decisions. That is all. Please, wait. Yes, jurist number 6. There's something in the jurist handbook here. Persons involved with the case must not be jurists. That is correct. I looked into all of your dossiers. None of you were involved with the development of the case. But the development of the case? I see. Does that answer your concern? It's time for your verdicts. Make a decision in the case against Vera Miss Ham. After 7 years, the truth is ready to be heard. Judge wisely, judge well. Select guilty or not guilty. Oh. Judge the defendant wisely. She's not guilty. Come on now. Confirm. Nice bracelet you got there. So verdict was reached on October 9th, 2:14 p.m. First verdict under the jurist system. Innocent by unanimous decision. The record will show that when the verdict was announced, special witness Christoph Gavin laughed. A laugh louder than it's heard before or since. A laugh that echoed in the halls of justice, lingering for what seemed like hours. October 10th, 8:30 p.m., morning after the trial. In an intensive care ward, a true miracle occurred. Vera Miss Ham opened her eyes. October 10th, 10:12 a.m., Tickfield Clinic. Hi there, Vera. How you doing? Vera, I'm so glad. Don't cry, Apollo. I'm happy too. I'm proud. You did well, Apollo. I thought about... What if Vera... I know. Don't you start crying too. Sorry to see us like this. Oh, that's nice. Vera. Thank you so much, Apollo. Thank you. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pressed you like that. If I hadn't... You never would have hit your nails. No, I was wrong. Staying locked up inside like that, clinging to my good luck charm. Vera. When I opened my eyes and saw you, I finally understood. It's important to be a part of the world. To see things with your own eyes. What if that poison had some effect after all? You killed off whatever was holding Vera back from life. I knew you'd pull through, Vera. I mean, that's what Apollo was fighting for the whole time. Your future. I won't forget it. Here, let me thank you. No, really, it's okay. Oh, that's cute. Oh, look, it's me. I love it. Thanks. Is that me? She really captured your essence, Apollo. Well, I think so, at least. That reminds me. Do you know where the other lawyer is? The other lawyer? Oh, you mean Daddy. Except he's not a lawyer anymore. It's my fault, isn't it? I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. No, it's okay. I'm too looking away from the things I've done. Hope you can look me in the eyes again someday and apologize. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that. He brought all those things for me when he came to visit earlier. Even that stack of videos. I'm sure I finished watching them all. You know, I knew my real daddy was alive. Huh? I was there 7 years ago, remember? I was the one who helped him vanish from the courtroom. You did what? How? I'm not telling. He promised me that day he went away. We've not to meet again for some time, Juicy. But know this, I will be watching, and one day I shall return. You're the next Garmette, after all. Oh, Juicy. In the end, couldn't keep that promise, could he? It's okay, Phoenix is my daddy now, even if he can't really play the piano. That he can't. Oh, and I've got you too, even if your voice is kind of loud sometimes. I'm glad I make your list. Hey, come to think of it. Where is Daddy, the one who can't play? You know, Apollo? I think he said he had to meet someone. I wonder. Here's a new mommy. Oh, Juicy. Yes, Vera. I was wondering, could you show show him to me once more? Sir Hat, was it? Oh, he's not been knighted yet. Here goes. Do his impersonation, Mr. Hat. Here he comes! Objection! Not loud enough. I like Miss... I like Miss Magic Underwear better anyway. That's magic paint these, Apollo. So your Mary's returned. Mr. Wright, this is all part of your plan too. I don't know what you're talking about. Unless my memory, I was reborn as the Moor. But you knew my true identity, did you not? That's why you chose me as one of your jurists. Ah, you're thinking into it too much. Besides, there's no guarantee that gaining a memory would make you happy. Of course it is a happy thing. For so long I thought I was alone. But now I know I have children. 2 dear children. I'm so proud of them. This, too, I think, is thanks to you. I'm going to tell them. They do not know. Nope. They don't know their mother. They don't even know their siblings. I'll go to them when the time is right. Until then, don't worry, I'll take care of them for you. They're very important to me, too. A little annoying at times, but still. Keep an eye on her, at least. Because I'm the only one who knows how she really feels on the inside. Your bracelet. Yes? I've seen a lot of mysterious things these past 7 years. Your bracelets were the strangest of all. I remember meeting him half a year ago now in Kristoff Evans' office. Then I met you. 2 fates destined to intertwine, and I was there when they crossed. Never forget that. That's a small thing, that bullet. It was I who was away. Years ago, during a simple rehearsal. It's a miracle no one died, but I didn't survive that accident. That's why I left the troupe, my family. Now I'm Mary's returned. I'm myself once more. For the first time, I am glad to be alive, Mr. Wright. Speaking of miracles, Fair Miss and I regained consciousness this morning. I can only hope she's as glad as you are. It is a strange thing, fate. Sometimes a life is taken, sometimes a life is spared. You know what I've been thinking? People don't die that easily, really. As long as they've got something worth living for. That's pretty much the end of my story, for now anyway. Still got a long way to go, and this power of mine, well, it needs some work. But there's hope now. We lost it, but somehow we found it again. That's why people are smiling again. Hope. Yeah, I think I'll keep this lawyer thing for a while. Oops, training time. Gotta go court to steal. Here comes justice.
Objection!
I'm glad you're staying with the agency, Apollo. It's like I found my long-lost big little brother. Oh, and don't you worry about Jupe Cromartie. Juicy's on the case. Now that I have this, thanks to Daddy. Juicy Cromartie? Pardon, I have my doubts, but Hat Cromartie, now that'll pack him in. It's not every day you get to try that rocks harder than one of our gigs, yeah? That's why it's over. The governors are breaking up. The news caused a run on tissues. Supermarkets nationwide. You're the real stars now. I look forward to our next jam session. Well, it's finally over. You know, thinking about it. I've been a piano player longer than I was a lawyer. Now that everything's sorted and I've got time on my hands, maybe I'll take some lessons. Or maybe I'll take the bar exam. Again. So I was sitting around eating snack foods the other day when I got this crazy idea. What if they were golden? You could argue with the crunch, or better yet, make them ding. Ah, the power of science. Although the preservatives might not be 100% safe. Unlike the events of wandering Russian feast, come to Boris Book Club. The only thing colder than the restaurant is boast. That, but if greater chance is being required. Then come to the hideouts, you know who to ask for. So Takapaswa is getting up this Asian roots, spread the culture and all. Yo, boss, culture time! This is how we write the roots, capiche? But we're still giving back to the people. Yo, boss, PR time! Look at my tiny eyes. And this is how we write people, alright? Not that Rocky's paying any attention. Oh, kids. Benzoid! Chinese characters on cake was a flag to your lack 3,000 years ago. Believe that. Man, you wanna make it today, you gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's why I made this. OG cracker, for real. I know I don't look like no cracker. Gee, what do we call it? The OG Buffin? The Katakis are fun. I will say that. I don't know where all this talk about food is coming from. You ask me, there's only one food, and that's noodles. Noodles forever. I got a new one, too. See, this time, I just put a big chunk of salt in the bowl. I pretend other than noodles about the salt. Salt forever. Okay. Ah. My accepting inquisitive nature has won me an uncruel adoration in my apartment. You see, they used to call me Weasley Stinker, and then Weasley Sticky Hands. But no longer. I have a new name, one that reflects my true ectopic nature. Wesley Sicko, reporting. Yes, curse is a sickness, that I am the cure. I don't know who to thank for all you've done. Light has returned to my life, and with it joy. I may have lost years, but I've gained a treasure. 2 treasures, in fact. I will think of them when I write my next song. Bushel. Bushel here, back on the beat, another interview. How do I feel about how things turned out? No scoop yet, but journalist confidence in mint condition. End quote! I decided to keep painting. Originals only, of course. I suppose I'll have to see a bit of the world outside to find out what to paint. But I know where there are good people out there now. I've met them. The door is open. The world is waiting. Thank you. Oh, that's a nice drawing. Alright, and we're back to the title. And just under, well, just over, well, it's probably going to be after I blah 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 away, an hour. Anyway, so yes, we're at the end of Apollo Justice. And at this point, this is where I give my spiel about, what's coming next and, the usual spiel I go on about. So let's just start that. Yeah, so up until right before I started recording this, I had a plan to do something related to this, related to Apollo Justice specifically. That's not official, a fan game basically. I was thinking about doing that, but I've changed my mind. I'm not gonna do that. But as far as what the next LP is gonna be, I don't know. I kind of if you ask me, like, hey, what's it gonna be? It's like I couldn't honestly tell you right now. Like I wouldn't tell you, but if I had to, like I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, I could move on to the the further future, the games that aren't as divisive as this one. Well, I mean, at least in my opinion, because I have the ability to maybe do that. Maybe if the thing I'm thinking about works. I don't know about that. We'll see. Or I could go back to that project that I didn't do anything with for a few years. I would want to do that eventually, but I don't know. I could also move on to another series entirely that's kind of in this vein, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that either. I don't really know. I want to finish again. That's a thing. That's been a thing. But Apollo had all my attention and my motivation, so I just didn't touch again. I need to go back to that. Really, I should scrap doing anything else before I go back to again. But, I don't know. I need motivation if I'm going to do things, okay? I can't just go back to again out of nowhere and just be like, okay, back to her. I don't know. I need to do that. Yeah, so I don't know what the next one will be. Whether that's finishing again, putting it on, the main slot so I have to do it, or just leaving that there, or going on to another game, whether it's a new series or not. There's also Investigations 2 I could do, but not feeling that either. I don't know. I will decide, and then I will make it known for the nobody who watches this, because nobody watches this. At least as far as me and the recording is concerned. But regardless of that, I will. So yes, to all of the no people watching, yes, those are my plans as of the second. I don't know. So I'm just gonna get on with my spiel now, and then I don't know, send you off to do whatever you would like to do. Okay. So my spiel. What is my spiel? My spiel is thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't enjoyed, then let me know. What did I do wrong? Do I not pronounce things? Am I just bad at reading? All of the answers to most of those questions are yes. Yes, they are. And also, high encoding exists. But that's besides the point. But thank you anyway for watching, because had you get to this point, you wouldn't just skip to the end to hear me ramble. You would, you'd be listening and be like, okay, okay. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to do any of the YouTube things, you can do that. You can comment, you can like, you can share, you can tell your friends. I don't know. You can go buy the game. You can go buy Apollo Justice and play it yourself. Though, if you're watching the end of a Let's Play, I don't know why you would do that. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But, I mean, hey. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. If you want to do any of that stuff, you can do it. But, thank you for watching, and something will come next. I don't know what, but something will. Anyway, Now, for one final objection end card. Until next time, until next series, until next Let's Play, until whatever it comes next. Have a good night. And